According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the United States has enough natural gas to last about 90 years. The purpose of my speech is to inform you on why we need to find alternative energy sources to non-renewable energy and what options there are. I am credible to speak on this topic because I have done my research. This topic will affect many of you because our natural gas supply could run out in our lifetimes, and if not in ours, likely our children's or grandchildren's. So we need to find alternative energies to use so we aren't left with nothing after our natural gas reserves run dry. Now let's move on to the next part of my speech. My topic for this speech covers alternative energy to those that are non-renewable. Here are some examples of different alternative energies. Pictured here is a calculator. Up in the top right corner of the calculator, there is a red circle. The red circle shows an example of a small solar panel. This panel allows the calculator to be used without the use of batteries by absorbing the sun's rays and energy. According to the philosophical transactions, mathematical, physical, and engineering sciences, solar power represents a vast resource which could, in principle, meet the world's need for clean power generation. Based on this, solar panel seems to be our best option for alternative energy. But there are other options as well. Solar panels can absorb the sun's rays just about anywhere. The sun shines just about everywhere on Earth. The windmill creates, this is a windmill. It creates energy by using wind to turn these three blades. This turns a motor and creates energy. Windmills are not very efficient though and come with high upkeep costs, so they're not that good of an option. Another option is hydroelectricity. With hydroelectricity, water rushes through and turns blades similar to that of a windmill, except here we are using water. There is an efficient energy source to use on any river. But hydroelectricity could not be used everywhere since not all places have the needed resources. You really need strong flowing water to be able to turn the turbines on the inside of this structure here. Now let's move on to my personal connection to this topic. There are lots of things that I still use that rely on non-renewable resources, things that I must have and will need an alternative for once our gas supplies run empty. The first example of this is my truck, which is right here. It still relies on gasoline. Once gas is gone, I'll need a car that can be electrically charged. If gas runs out, this isn't going to go anywhere. Another way I rely heavily on natural gas is with common cooking equipment. Several places and houses still use a stove that has burners which use natural gas to create a small flame, and that heats the metal bars. We need to start switching to more electric stoves so that we don't have shortages of food. Another issue with the resources being used now is they aren't very clean. When coal or gas is burned, it creates black smoke and pollutes the air, like in the picture shown here. Everything's just very dark, there's a lot of bad fumes in the air, and it's not very safe to breathe. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, sulfur dioxide is produced when the sulfur in coal reacts with oxygen. Sulfur combines with other molecules in the atmosphere to form small acidic particles that can penetrate human lungs. This has been linked with different diseases such as asthma, bronchitis, and other things like that. The smog also creates the sulfur dioxide also has been linked with creating this smog and creating acid rain, which messes up a lot of buildings, causes a lot of erosion, and it's not very good. It also damages crops and other ecosystems and makes lakes and streams poisonous and kills the fish in them. U.S. coal plants emitted more than 3.1 million tons of sulfur dioxide in 2014. So this just isn't safe for me or anybody else to be breathing in. Now let's move on to how this topic affects all of us. This topic can change all of our lives for the better if we can replace non-renewable resources now. Our air will be cleaner and we won't suddenly run out of ways to power our technology that we rely on in our everyday lives. This plane shown is a picture. The plane shown in this picture is used for people traveling long distances in a short period of time. Without this, we would have to be driving cars or riding trains or boats or things like that. Especially when we're going across country, we'd have to ride a boat going across to another continent, across water. We'd have to use a boat, and that takes a lot more time. What will we do when we don't have jet fuel to power this anymore? We must find a way to power this without gas so that we can continue to vacation and go on business trips without it taking several days to get to our destination. This is a picture of Denver. They already have several programs implemented to make people use more electric and hybrid technology. This helps keep the air much cleaner. We should all want every city to be as clear as this one and as beautiful as this one. There's not as much smog like what we saw in the picture before, and it's obviously much safer to be breathing in here. This is a picture of an electric car. Many people think of little tiny unsafe cars as the only electric cars that we have, but there are full-size electric models that we can drive. They can still drive several miles without needing recharged. This is what we will eventually have to switch to when gas runs out. It is best that we start making these as efficient as possible now rather than waiting until our gas runs out and then trying to make everything work. Now let me conclude my speech. In conclusion, we need to find energy that is renewable before the energy sources that we rely on so heavily run out. And we also need to find cleaner energies so that we can all breathe and stay healthy. I challenge you all to go out and use renewable energy when possible. Try to switch to an electric car. Use electric stoves, carpool to save gas, and reduce the amount of gas that we are using now to buy us more time for in the future. Thank you for listening to my speech.